Today we're taking a look at Gentoo Rescue, which on the surface is a game about sliding penguins around, but apparently it goes so much deeper than that. Well, we've managed to slide him around in this mini tutorial, and now we've got level select. So we're trapped by this landing puzzle. Or we can reset ourselves. We can also make a hole in this wall, which apparently unlocks a new entry about destructible walls that are one-time use. But why is this in level select? And then we can fall into the water and die. And that's not even a real level, or is it? Anyway, let's learn about landing. So here, if we just go straight to target, we're gonna end up in the water. So we gotta be a bit smarter than that to get to the exit. Okay, assistance. Now we've got 2 penguins and we can switch between them. I assume it's the red penguin that we wanna get to the red penguin circle, but we've gotta start by using the blue penguin to prepare the area. Now we've got conjunction, and after that we've made a hole in the wall to our side, and then there's like cracked ice, so I wonder what else is gonna be happening in here. Now we've got the blue penguin and the yellow penguin, and they all have their exits. Well, I think we gotta start with the blue penguin, except now our yellow penguin is stuck here, so that is not going to work. Even if we're in the end circle, we can still move around, so we can do a bunch of stuff to help our penguins get to where they need to be. There we go. So now we can go up or we can go to the side. What happens with this cracking ice is now there is a hole. Oh, that's one-time use tile, but what does that mean? We're now stuck in this area of the level select if we don't just undo our movement. So let's get up here first so we don't lose the opportunity. I've also noticed there is level just above me that it's seemingly inaccessible, but who knows what tricks we're gonna have to pull to get there. Let's check out this blockers map. Okay, we've now got 4 penguins that have to get where they need to. Well, in theory, the blue penguin is where he needs to be, but I assume that's not all he needs to do in this level. Because he can help our green friend get to where he needs, but then he is unable to return to his own place because he will end up in the water. So that's not what we want. I think we can start with getting the yellow and the red penguin into their slots, and then we're just playing with the green and blue penguin around. So we can get them set up so that they can block each other in a way that lets them finish in their respective slots. There we go, all 4 penguins saved. And well, then we have this next level here, but we can't get into it because we're just gonna slide off into the water. So we've gotta learn some trick that even lets us access that level from the level selection. Because right now, I don't think we can do it. Well, we can go across the breaking ice into the escape level. And now we got walruses. So what do the walruses want? Do the walruses want to go in the water, unlike the penguins that didn't want to go in the water? Is that their objective in life? I mean, it does say escape, so that might be what we're looking for. And so we can use the blue walrus to put the yellow one on a path in the square, but we still need to get the blue in a similar position. Yes, so he can get out now, and the yellow can also turn around and get out. There we go. We've let the walruses escape. Okay, so I'm now noticing there is a circle for this red penguin to go to on this map on the bottom of the level select. So that's where we're heading in general. So the level select is definitely a puzzle, and probably even more than one. We've got something about returning. Well, we've got a walrus and a penguin now. So obviously we could put a penguin here, but then the walrus is stuck and he cannot escape out into the water. So what we need to do is get that walrus on the left side of the circle, but the penguin also has to be on the right side at that time, because otherwise he won't be able to access the area properly. So if we flip them around like this, the penguin can go in the circle and the walrus can go in the water. Ooh, something appeared on the side there. What does it mean? If we reset the level, can we do anything about it? Or is that something we have now added to our map in some way? Well, it doesn't seem like currently we have any ability to destroy that wall and get over to it, but maybe we will learn more as we progress. Yes, so it is now showing the rainbowy icon on that particular level, but what does it mean? Who knows? I am excited to find out. Well, here we have the tutorial complete celebration, but we haven't even tried all of the levels. And also you can exit level selection. Oh, because it's a level selection within level selection. And now we've got a level selection with 3 separate penguins, and there is a rocket on the side. It's penguins all the way down. Well, we should probably return into here and just try to access some more of the levels that are here, though, you know, we may need the knowledge we've acquired from other further up parts of the game to return here in order to do it. Like here we have a penguin blocking our way with some sort of mask. And apparently we've only unlocked 6 out of the 94 knowledge pieces. Oh, this is gonna go deep. Well, this isn't a penguin I can switch to, so right now I can only bounce into this. We may need to learn about this later, but we can get into the separation level. And we've got a blue and the green penguin, and we've got the situation with the breakable walls and breakable floors. Well, if the blue guy goes here, he can help the green go here, and then... Oh! Okay, if we hit a breakable wall, we will stop, and we're not allowed to stop on the breakable floor, or we will die. So that is a problem. So we may have to do some preparation before we're able to complete this level properly. Like, can we break up that wall on the other side before crossing over? So you can potentially go across here. Break up this wall, return across, go into your circle, then this blue guy can come across here and get into his circle. There we go. Which means now that we learned that, we know that if we go down from here, we're gonna fall in the water and drown. Can penguins not swim? I'm pretty sure they can swim underwater. But, you know, this game also has walruses and penguins in the same game, and I'm pretty sure they live in different areas of the world. So we're not going to question that. And so, do we need to learn something more before we can access the additional levels in this place? Because currently, I don't know how to reach them without just failing. The same for this one in the corner here, because it's past an exit point, and so we may have to like bring another penguin here or another animal that will be able to get across from this end point. Well, let's go out to the higher up level where there are more things to learn and more things to discover, and see what we can learn. We have this guy that's basically trapped here, right? Like, even if we break the wall, he's trapped behind. He cannot get across. Because that's not gonna happen. They can't swim. But the green guy here can help us get into the inception space. There is bunch of tools on this level, and we seem to have moved into like a desert with the penguins. Yes, one of them has a spring, which makes it bounce up. And now, yes, this is another just level selection within level selection. So we're checking out Moonwalk, except this is another level selection within level selection. So we're checking out Skipping. Okay, this is an actual level. So we've got some springs to collect. So yes, we're learning that if you have a spring, once you hit a wall, you will bounce off. Which means for the green penguin, we absolutely do not want to spring. And we want to just get into the exit. And so here we can get the corner level called retrograde, but we were not able to access the level before that because there was no way for us to stop. So a spring would have helped there, but the spring is over in another part of the level. We also have a green penguin, but he's locked behind a gate marked C, and the C is at the bottom of the screen, so we're gonna have to collect that to release the poor guy. Well, let's get into the retrograde. We can see in the top corner, we're in Gentoo Rescue, Inception, Moonwalk, Retrograde, so there is an opportunity for that list to get longer and longer. Here we got a spring in the exit, which means as we go there, we pick up the spring and we end up not on the exit. So we gotta figure out how to get around that situation. I assume there is no way for us to drop the items. Like, it's now became part of our body and that's it. We're not able to get away from it. But that means we can hit a wall that's right next to us and basically bounce ourselves by one space if we want to use that for something. So that most likely means where we want to end up is the space on the left side of the exit while we're holding the spring, because then we will be able to just spring ourselves onto the exit by pushing against the wall. So what we want to do is we pick up the spring, we bounce ourselves up here, and we bounce ourselves up here, but then we use the spring power to just move back by one space by hitting the walls instead of going forward toward the direction we want to go, because that means we're actually able to get to particular squares. And yes, we can go around like this. Now we're gonna use normal movement, and that means if we go across to the side, yes, we get bounced back and to the exit. There we go. So next one, unbounded. Yeah, it's just a one penguin and a one spring and some destructible walls. How hard could it be? That means we want to end up down here, but with the spring so that we can hit this wall. But in that case, it's gonna bounce us back so that we can actually end up in the exit. Because we can't go to the exit normally, because we're just gonna fall out. So we want to go collect this spring. And then move ourselves back by using the spring backward movement. But now we want to hit the wall on our right side so that we break it, bounce back, bounce off the other wall, and then move back to the exit. Yes, there we go. Because we're gonna have to remember that one movement can cause multiple bounce backs. And going the other way would have ended up in the water. So what can we do? Well, from here, if we just move normally to the side, we're ending up in the twist. So let's look at this twist. We've got one spring and two penguins, so we're gonna have to decide which penguin we want to be using the spring. So it also works against animals where we can go towards them, and if we have the spring, we bounce back one. Now, this would be a good position if not for the fact that then we're going to take a dunk in the water. So I think it's the blue penguin we want to give the spring to, purely because he would not be able to get into his exit without some sort of bounce trick, because we can only approach from this direction and the other side is open, right? So it's not going to work otherwise. But from there, we need to get him out of the way so that the yellow penguin can get to the exit. Except that's not even the end of it, because we still gonna need the yellow penguin to help us bounce the blue penguin into his exit, right? So he can go here and then the yellow penguin can bounce around and get out as well. Okay, so from here we get to lead, but we also broke that wall at the bottom, which is going to cause us problems for trying to continue further down to unlock the green penguin. But yeah, well, let's see what lean has for us to learn. So we've got 3 penguins with springs and 1 penguin with no spring, and of course all the penguins with springs want to get into places where they're just gonna bounce off the walls. So we likely have to use our green friend here to help them get locked into position, because he could reach his exit very easily, and that will help the blue guy get where he wants to be, but obviously that doesn't solve the problem for everyone else. Well, we can help the yellow guy by using the blue guy, but we still need to get the red guy some help. So somehow we need to get the penguin into the middle there for the red guy to bounce off. Or we can cause an infinite bounce between a penguin and a wall, and then he just ejects himself from the level. We have learned something new. Yes, animal will be launched if caught in an infinite loop. Don't cause infinite loops, they're not good for you. Okay, so to help both the yellow and the red penguin, what we need to do is get the green penguin into the blue circle, while the blue penguin is at the top above the yellow and red penguin. So we start with getting a green penguin down here to get the blue penguin unstuck. Then the blue penguin goes in there. Green guy goes in here. Now that will help the yellow penguin get out. But now we need to get that guy here. Now the red penguin can bounce. And now the green penguin can go, and the blue penguin can go, and we're all done. So now what the path is for us here. We can't go down and try to unlock C because we will just fall into the water. And so the only way is up, and we can bounce into torsion. Okay, now we're back to 2 penguins, 1 spring. Who gets the spring and who gets to just slide around like a normal penguin would. So for this one, I think it's the blue penguin that needs the spring, because the yellow one needs to end against the wall. So I think it's gonna just make it an easier situation for him to have it. Now he can use the one-time wall to bounce off to here, but after that the wall is all spent. So we can get him in here. That will get the yellow to position, but we still need to figure out how does he get into his corner, and I assume he's gonna need more help from his friend yellow. We can come up here and let him bounce into his slot, and that gives us room to put yellow where he needs to be. And so for level select, I think we're stuck in our current situation, so we may have to restart ourselves and see what else we can do sliding around here. Well, I guess if we don't collect the spring, we can go all the way up and get into recoil. Up at the top here, once again, 2 penguins, 1 spring. So on the surface, this seems like an easy thing of like, yeah, the green goes there and then the blue goes there, except he's gonna bounce off his friend, and that's not gonna work at all. But it also means we can't use that single-use wall just to get the blue guy into position, because then how does the green guy get into his end position? So we've gotta do some thinking about this one. So the only way this is going to work is if this blue penguin ends up in the square under its ending circle, because then he can bounce back into his place. But by that point on, the green penguin has already been in his ending spot, otherwise he's not gonna be able to get out of the other section of the level into the green circle. So that's where the difficulty lies. And so we have to find a way to get that blue penguin in that corner, considering the fact that he will bounce off everything if we just try to place him in the corner. We also have to take into account that the wall at the end there is breakable, so once we use it once, that's just a hole, and I'm pretty sure we need to use it at the end, because otherwise the green penguin is just gonna fall through and die, which is undesirable. So if we bounce this guy into there and the green penguin goes down, now this guy bounces here, the green penguin can come here, give this guy an extra bounce into the corner. Now green penguin go into his slot and blue penguin rolls backwards into his exit. There we go. So how can we get into those extra levels we still have here, and how can we get green guy out, because he might also be what we need to get into those extra levels. So if we use some backward hopping tricks, we can get into here and we can get ourselves into this area. Okay, there we go, and we don't need to stop on that square to unlock the green penguin's enclosure, so he is now free to go, free to bounce, and we can use him to bounce a red penguin up onto the escort level. Okay, once again, 2 penguins, 1 spring, but only the blue penguin needs to make an escape. The yellow penguin is just here for escort, I guess. Aptly named. So yeah, we need to get the yellow penguin down to the right side somehow, because that's how we will get him to provide a wall for our blue penguin to bounce off and not die. Okay, so once we got them swapped around, we can basically move them step by step onto the other side of the level. The escort title makes more and more sense as we do this. Yes, there we go. Blue guy has been rescued. Back in level selection, we gotta bounce our penguins around again to get into something. So red guy can come over here, bounce him by a slot, and then green guy can provide a nice bouncing support so that we can get to edge. Okay, we've got 2 penguins and a walrus makes a return, so we remember those guys want to go in the sea. Can he grab a spring? He can also have a spring, so we gotta decide who between those 3 gets a spring. Looking at the level, I'm thinking it might be the blue penguin, because I don't think anyone's gonna be able to help him get into his circle by like blocking him from the open edges. So I think it's gonna be for him. But then it's the question of how he gets to that as well. If the penguins move out of the way, the walrus can move about and help us clear the way for this penguin. From there, the walrus can provide a block there. But then we can't have the yellow guy over there blocking us right now. You need to come over here, you get in here, but we still need to help the blue penguin get into his slot. The walrus is now in a position where his only way out is to go in the sea unless we put you here and you get to help some more. So then you come here, yes, the blue penguin can bounce into his slot, and we still need the walrus to help the yellow penguin not fall into the water. So potentially before the blue finishes, he will help with the walrus a little bit as well. Okay, so that lets us bounce the blue penguin here, then the yellow penguin goes here and here. Blue bounce into your stall, walrus move over here, yellow penguin here, and the walrus goes in the water. There we go. the edge is done. Okay, well, for the level selection, we may have to reset here in order to get further. So green guy's out. Okay, and that lets us pick the Omega level. It's just a walrus and a spring. Okay, I think this is where we're gonna use our infinite bouncing loop trick we've learned previously. So we have to get him up in that corner there and then have him bounce until he gets ejected into the water. We just have to be smart about how we use those temporary walls so that we can actually bounce ourselves in there. So we can clear out some of the walls before we get the spring and bounce up. There we go. And then we can just infinite loop ourselves and success! Big brain. Okay, so we just have a couple level up top and another in between there. And one that's, again, inaccessible because it's behind a wall and we don't know what to do about that. So to get to this one in the middle, I think we need to close the gate so that the penguin will be able to use it to bounce. But yes, here we can bounce off our friend, and here we can bounce off the gate for reciprocity. And we've got a penguin and a walrus with a spring and some weird sandstorm. Okay, they get stuck. They cannot move when they're there. And so what happens? We can bounce out of those tiles, but we cannot move, which means only the walrus will be able to use those places. The green penguin cannot, and so the walrus has to work in a way to stop the green penguin from getting stuck in there. Oh, because what we need to do is create a situation where the green walrus can get stuck in infinite loop so that he can escape, but also do so in a way that lets the green penguin get to where he needs to be. And also the walrus, if he stops in that tile, then he's also stuck. So he's only okay to go through there if he's just gonna bounce off the wall at the other side, but he can't stop there. That's how we can get the walrus out, but obviously now our green penguin is stuck here without a way for him to get to his exit. So that basically means we need the green penguin to be somewhere in the middle like that, because that lets him get to the finish. And then from there, the walrus just needs to get above or under him, which, you know, it's easy enough to say, but obviously it's not straightforward to do so. Okay, so now that the walrus is directly above the penguin, we can bounce him up and down until he gets ejected. And our penguin can then return to his own exit. There we go. Another level done. So we just have the two up top. How we get to them, I am not quite sure. I mean, the first one, the corner one, we might be able to get there with the spring of the corner if we can put ourselves there. The one at the end, maybe with the escort style two penguins. The green one is used for the red one to bounce backwards. Let's see if I can arrange that. We can get the red guy there. We can get the green guy there. But we just have to make it into that corner as well. If we have you here, then we should be able to bounce off into the corner and get into the rebound. More animals with springs. The penguin starts with the spring, the walrus doesn't. Can he have two springs? No, but we can kick the spring out. Okay, so they will actually remove their current item. It just happened that we had a spring and we replaced with a spring, so it looked like maybe we kicked the one out that was on the ground. But no, that's an item swap. But that also means we can remove items if they were going to cause us trouble, because actually what we want for this level is only for the walrus to get out, which means it's probably unwise for us to kick out that spring, because the walrus will need it to end up stuck in the infinite loop. While we could get him into this alcove that's blocked with the sandstorm that doesn't let our animals move, and therefore then we're stuck. So we have to get him into one of the other corners where we might want to get our penguin stuck just to provide a bounce pad for the walrus. So if he was stuck here and we can get the walrus up top there, that might give us something, but they cannot both be stuck. So we can get the penguin stuck there, and then the walrus goes above him, and then we do our infinite loop to rescue the walrus. I'm not sure we're rescuing them, but you know, something's happening. So now we can use this trick to keep moving across until we end up in VE. Okay, well, this is new. Some sort of energy gate is happening here, potentially because only certain animals can go through this. So our green walrus, all good to go in there. But I assume our red walrus is like, nope, you can't go in there. Yes, so they're color walls that the animals of matching color can pass through, but the other ones cannot. Well, in this case, we can give each of our walruses a spring, and our green walrus can bounce around like this. But we have to get the red walrus in between that wall and the other wall in order for him to be able to bounce as well. But that means that, yeah, the green walrus has to exit first, because otherwise there won't be a way for him to bounce by himself, right? Because for him that is not a wall. But yeah, if we have no spring on the red walrus, he can move to block the green guy. But then it's the question of how we get in that corner if he's just by himself. So if we position them like that, we can get this guy to his spring. And then if he bounces off this wall, he's under the red guy. So now he can bounce down and the red guy comes in to block him. And we go into the infinite loop. And the red guy is still in position to get his spring and get himself stuck between the walls. And off he goes into the sea. Okay, so that's every single level here except for the one that's stuck behind the wall, because we still have to learn how to hop over them. So that means we can go up a level. So now we're back to the higher level where we still have other levels, and we have this mallet weapon for whatever reason this is going to be, but I think that's enough for this video. Let me know in the comments if you want to be getting deeper into this penguin/walrus madness and see how far can we go with those crazy puzzles, what other items are there, and how we get into those levels that are seemingly inaccessible. If you enjoy my content, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I'll see you soon on another adventure.